water. I don't know how to open videos anymore. I haven't done one of these in ages. Hello everybody, Xsword64 here and whatnot. Right away, one thing that we can all take away from this year is that it fucking sucked, and we all knew this. This year fucking blew. I didn't even have time to do anything. But speaking of that, another quick thing is that you can never trust this asshole right here, because even when he makes plans to put out videos, even as simple as a Mario Kart discussion video, he won't go through. There's no way. Don't fucking trust this idiot. But to be honest, two of these things link in with each other a little bit, and I never really had time to focus, like to hard focus on videos like that, even if they were simple to produce, because I spent a lot of time figuring out what the hell to do during COVID because of university and other bullshit. But you know what I did have time for? I had time to play some new ass games. So what I decided to end the year off with, even though I've uploaded a grand total of 3 videos this year, counting this one, is a nice little top 10 list of games that I played throughout the year. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy it, because I put a little effort into it at the end of the year. My water bottle cracking, thanks. Little short and sweet video. It's a little more, I guess, serious, because I actually decided to put effort into what I'm talking about with games. It's not just like nonchalant. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. That's about it.
So I was honestly struggling to find a game that would open up this video, and I was going through my phone wondering, man, what games did I play this year that I actually enjoyed? And then I stumbled onto my games folder on my phone and found Jetpack fucking Joyride. I originally played Jetpack when I was probably around 11 or so, pretty early, and there wasn't really a whole lot to do back in the game then. But recently picking it up many years later, I noticed they added so many new things to the small mobile title that I caught myself not being able to put the phone down for hours. The concept of the game is simple. You play as this businessman named Barry, who uses a jetpack to fly through his workstation, dodging missiles, lasers, and other shit. The system of starting the game and flying for a long run, dying, and combining using your revival hearts and watching ads to get a free revive is such an addicting combo in my opinion, because even if you fail a run to something stupid, you can just either restart and go right away with a 750 meter boost, or pray that you get an early vehicle to carry you at least 500 meters forward. The game also offers completion bonuses, such as little extras to extend your survival, like an upgradable shield and vehicle coin magnets. In recent years, Halfbrick, the company who made the game, has been rolling out monthly events that allow you to participate in, collecting tokens that give you access to exclusive items, which honestly keeps the game from getting stale. Overall, it's just a really fun game to hop into if you've got time to kill. If there's any Nintendo game series that deserves a revival, obviously outside of my golden child, then it's gotta be F-Zero. F-Zero for the Super Nintendo is one of 2 games in the series I've actually played alongside GX for the GameCube. But I recently played this one all thanks to Nintendo's lovely online bonuses that we're all aware of. I'm used to playing kart racers like Mario Kart and sometimes Sega All-Stars, but hell, this game here is nothing compared to the baby shit that those games are. You think Mario Kart 8's 200cc is fast? Try playing this bastard of a game, please. Like, even starting out on the Night Cup, which is considered slow and easy, it's like the tutorial cup to actually get you introduced to the mechanics, and that even has Sand Ocean, which is a fucked course, but if you want a damn challenge, then test yourself on the King Cup with tracks like Deathwind 2 and Firefield. Even with its fast-paced nature, the game forces you to take it slow sometimes due to your energy meter. You take damage from obstacles such as the track's borders and landmines, but you can refill your energy at pits, which are typically at the beginning of each lap. There's not really a whole lot else to say about this game, but if you want a challenging racing game that'll actually test your skills, then play this beast of a game, please. Genshin Impact is a game that I was honestly staying away from originally when I first heard about it. But closer to when I actually started to play the game, I heard that it was getting a lot of praise, mostly for its combat and its environments. So me and a couple of my friends decided to get the game and see what it was all about. And yeah, those praises were definitely right. The game does have slight gacha features in terms of obtaining items, but it's entirely free to play right from the get-go, which is honestly a perfect introduction for a game like this, throwing you into a story that's totally unfamiliar to you and unique, but sometimes has irritating characters along the way, at least for the first 5 hours of gameplay in my opinion. The game feels like a fever dream because of how it's presented, with a Breath of the Wild styled open world plains and alternate JRPG inspired mechanics, which initially got me interested into the game after I heard it was praised. And I started looking into it, Breath of the Wild. Oh shit, I might want to try this out because I'm a fucking idiot for Breath of the Wild. Combat in this game feels extremely fluent, with how you can chain your character's abilities into another and combine them with their ultimate ability. Plus, throw in 3 party members per team and an elemental bonuses, and you can really get satisfying battle encounters. What does impress me most about this game is how the side quests are presented. Each main story and side quest is fully voice acted through and through, also with extremely smooth animations. You don't typically see that often, even in AAA title RPGs, and JRPGs for that matter. So it's really fascinating to have this world actually feel like it's fleshed out in some way. So far, I'm roughly 20 hours in, and the story isn't a whole hell of a lot, but its storytelling with foreshadowing so far hints at potential obvious events that could happen within the story, but the combat is keeping me hooked. My only grip with the game is that I think multiplayer should have been available sooner, instead of having you to grind up to play with your friends, because it's a pretty high level cap for multiplayer to be unlocked. And there's also this bitch, but that's totally fine. In Defunct, you play as this little robot that reminds me somewhat of this motherfucker from the movie Robots. I tried this game out last year, but never really gave it a solid chance until this year, and to be honest, I'm really glad I did. Defunct is a very short game and can be completed in roughly 20 minutes if you try hard enough. It's a game that you can just drop in, learn the mechanics, and beat it in such a short time that you won't even notice you've beaten it. It introduces 2 gravity controlling mechanics to you and lets you play around with them in smaller areas with a couple of puzzles thrown in, like the opening area of the game, Home, and the Oasis. And it has this formula throughout the game demonstrating smaller areas with puzzles to complete. Then, as soon as you're getting used to the mechanics, it throws you into these vast open fields of terrain for you to boost through, explore to your heart's content, collect things, and challenge yourself with the new mechanics you've learned. One factor about this game that keeps drawing my attention to it is that you're able to skip to each checkpoint in every single level to try and compete for your best times, like time trials from Mario Kart. Pushing R on PC allows you to restart the level from the nearest checkpoint, allowing you to pick and choose your skills on whichever paths the level have. At its core, this game is all about conserving speed and using momentum to soar you through these open and expansive levels, trying to improve your best times and discovering branching paths to optimize said times. I found out about Hyperjam's existence during this April, a time where the lovely global pandemic had already taken over and people were forced to stay inside. Thankfully, I convinced a small group of my friends to get into this game, and it wasn't too difficult to convince them. Hyperjam is an 80s Neo Tokyo-esque 4-player arena brawler. Its 80s theming really strikes through with its score composed by artists from my favorite music genre, synthwave. These artists such as Carpenter, Brut, Dance with the Dead, and Cloud Battalion. And funny enough, the score alone was what actually dragged some of my friends into playing this. The combat system of this arena brawler is highly addicting, making late night game sessions easily spanning over a couple hours just grinding the game out. The combat is very fast paced in nature, close and long ranged, with the variety of weapons at your disposal. And not to mention the different perks. At the end of each round, everyone gets to pick a different perk to attach to their character stats. Perks such as Overdrive, which increase your attack speed, Turbo Dash, which increase your dash cooldown, Vampirism, which heals you after every successful attack, Cryogenesis, which freezes your enemy, and Mind Crush, that reverts the opponent's controls. Take the fact, too, that with each round you can choose more perks, giving some strategy to your play on if you want to place last or close to last in order to pick your perk first, allowing you to stack your perks and amplifying the effect further. Overall, just a really dope-ass co-op adrenaline-boosting brawler that I highly recommend. Now, those past 5 are nothing compared to the top 5 games personally. These next 5 are games that I put some time into and I highly care about, so buckle up. Death Motherfucking Stranding. Known mostly as Hideo Kojima's magnum opus that launched to large confusion. Yeah, not to me, anyways. When Death Stranding launched last November, I spent days watching Let's Plays on it because I was so excited to learn all about this brand new world, especially since I never owned a PS4 and I grew up playing Metal Gear. And yeah, I finished watching all of it and wanted more because I knew of how confusing, emotional, and how beautiful the story was. I wouldn't shut the hell up to my friend about the game that he eventually bought it for himself on his PS4 and was like, yeah, now you play it. And so the journey began. I don't think many games come close to me where I tend to lay the actual controller down and take in my surroundings. Death Stranding's defining manner of atmosphere and world building were the things that stood out to me the most while playing. The different terrains you'll encounter delivering to with the melancholic score that accompanies it paint a feeling of loneliness in the dystopian world that Kojima built. The features of low roar and silent poets perfect this feeling. And sure, the story is confusing and maybe the controls are a little wonky at first, but over time it teaches the player new aspects of how you can strategize and pinpoint each delivery mission by giving you optional supplies to help you traverse the terrain, which further rewards you with even more things to help you with future missions. And don't even get me started with the story. It hooks you from the moment the story begins and continues to drag you further with each cutscene in between missions and drastic encounters with Higgs and Cliff. The game's underlying message of growth and unity are so strongly present with Sam reconnecting the United States as his main goal, and with a gameplay aspect as well. Reconnecting each locale to the chiral network allows other players who've also traversed the exact same terrain as you to assist you by leaving their tools as simple as a motorcycle or as complex as a zipline can help you out greatly. Watching the world build in this way is such a sight to see and experience. Not a game I would call perfect, but one that definitely leaves an impression on you. Now, Riot Games is a company that I've heard very negative things about. I've never really played a game made by them, but I'm inclined to believe that they fucking blow as a company, and that League of Legends is not something that is very user-friendly, at least in terms of the community aspect from what I've heard. But to hear that this company is making a class-based team shooter that resembles both the gameplay of Counter-Strike and Overwatch, and that they actually took the time and gave a shit about the community they're building for their latest IP, that showed interest for me to try out Valorant. And boy, I'll tell ya, it is probably the most fun, but also the most frustration I've felt playing an FPS. I transitioned to this game from Overwatch and Apex Legends, which are games that have pretty fucking baby aim controls, and it's not super difficult to aim entirely. Especially in Overwatch, where you can just spam ability usage and win a fight. but here in Valorant, they dumb down the ability usage for the most part and focus in on gunplay and aim control, which really demonstrates to a player that came from games like Overwatch that you can't just push yourself into a point all willy-nilly, blow your abilities, and expect to win all by yourself. Valorant teaches you this, along with a combination of good team play and coordination, and pretty decently balanced guns and abilities, in my opinion. With maybe the exception of Sky and Breach having 3 flashes that you can spam in succession, but, you know.
You know that line? I'll flash you. Dude, holy fuck. Holy fuck!
Riot showing interest in actually listening to player feedback and changing the game based on the player's experience is something that's needed in a game like this. And sure, maybe the player base can be a bit toxic from time to time. You'll still encounter good teammates and good rivals more frequently. I've had my ups and downs with this game, but it's still an extremely good time to get 5 friends all together and just fuck around in pubs just for the hell of it. Looking forward to seeing how Riot handles the game in the future. Hopefully they won't fuck it up as bad as Overwatch.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god!
Crazy!
What the heck was that? That's crazy.
Yeah, let's go!
Yeah, alright, let's go, Dave.
No, dude!
Oh my god!
You got the jumping knife and you landed on my head!
Oh my god! Last player standing. One down. One enemy remaining.
Oh my god! Holy crap!
Imagine if I died right now.
You got it, you got it.
On everybody.
You got it, just barely.
Clutch.
Oh my god, let's go!
Bruh.
I'd like to hope that everybody and their grandma knows that I am the Mario guy. If not that, then the 3D Mario guy, because I don't shut the hell up about both Mario 64 and both Mario Galaxy games, if that isn't blatantly obvious. But oddly enough, I've played every single 3D Mario besides Super Mario Sunshine. I never grew up with the GameCube, surprisingly, and never thought to ever buy it or emulate it. But back in March, when there were rumors floating around about a 3D Mario Remastered collection on the horizon, Mr. Xsword never believed it in full. I decided to emulate it on Dolphin, but then September rolled around and... yeah. Mario Sunshine takes every aspect developed from 64 and just continues to add to it like there's no tomorrow. Easily the best Mario has ever felt controlling in any 3D Mario by far. Sunshine presents an actual story to follow, new characters and their own interactions with the familiar cast, and a wide variety of levels to explore, all surrounding a beach theme. Sunshine will plant you into easier levels, but isn't fucking afraid to throw you into the ball pit of hell with some levels either. Take the infamous Pachinko game and Corona Mountain levels. Hell, the setup to get to the Poison River bonus level got so infuriating to me that my friend suggested me use a clip to grant access to the level easier. But then I still spent almost an hour on the damn level itself. Overall, not my favorite 3D Mario, but definitely one that I suggest to anyone out there who enjoys a good 3D platformer with challenging levels, smooth movement, and smoother camera controls. Dead Cell's fucking slaps. This is by far the best roguelite, Metroidvania, or whatever the hell you call it I've ever played, and its addictive gameplay has allowed me to pour so many hours into it. You play as the Beheaded, an unknown entity that roams the prison quarters whose goal is to hunt down the king of the island and escape. Even though Dead Cells starts out pretty rough in terms of repeatedly dying a bunch, the more runs you continue, the stronger you'll grow, and the further you'll progress through each biome. The biomes are this game's levels or areas you traverse through, scavenging for items and killing enemies in your path. There are 25 biomes in total, counting DLC, 7 of which are boss biomes, which hold a boss. Go figure. I originally thought the game was shorter than it was, but after reaching and beating the Hand of the King, which I thought was the final boss of the game, and without getting into any spoilers, let's just say that's exactly where the game begins. After each major boss is defeated, not saying much due to spoilers, you obtain a boss stem cell, which allows you to increase the difficulty of the overall game, including biomes, giving you access to restricted rooms, better gear, and tougher enemies. Each weapon you obtain, be it swords, daggers, shields, bows, anything, will give you multiple different combinations for how you want to approach your run, mostly based on when and how you obtain said items. You can go for a speedy build with the assault shield and swift sword, or builds that climb on status effects, like the twin daggers and the blood sword, which chain off of bleeding damage, or even my personal favorite build so far being the frantic sword and electric whip. Attachments such as amulets, traps, and bombs make for interesting playstyles that add to the combinations of different builds. Then take all of this and add a gear upgrading system that appears after every cleared biome, and you have a huge list of options to choose from. The movement in Dead Cells is also something that hasn't pissed me off yet either, which is really fucking good for a game like this where movement needs to be precise at times, especially dodging. You'll obtain amulets that give you a third jump, or weapons with active speed buffs upon killing an enemy, or better yet, permanent power-ups, or runes as they're called. Some allow you to climb walls, smash the ground harder, create vines, or access hidden areas. This game's drive for the player to explore and be rewarded for your curiosity, along with the combination of an incredible combat system, confusing story, and funny references to other games like Half-Life and Dark Souls, are what place Dead Cells at my number 2 spot, and I'll continue to play the hell out of this game in the new year. Every time I sit in front of my laptop trying to think of something to type for Xenoblade for the video script, I get lost, because I can never really find words that describe how much I love this game. Something that hasn't happened to me since Breath of the Wild in 2017, or even as far back as the first Mario Galaxy in 2007. There's just so much to talk about, it's overwhelming. I started playing Xeno 1 in mid-2019 on the 3DS, but I gave up halfway because of a stupid boss. Then, early 2020, I gave it another shot on Dolphin, and I completed it right before Definitive Edition came out. There's just so much to talk about this game, like, oh my god. I'm just gonna go one step at a time. First off, the combat. The combat system itself is extremely unique and one that I adore playing with. It's action RPG combat style where you can interact with your enemy on the playing field and roam around freely. You use arts, which are attacks, and these attacks can range from standard attacks that deal fine damage, or attacks that leave stasis effects like sleep, poison, or buffs and debuffs. This system also follows a pattern that combos into itself. Arts that inflict break can combo into topple, which topples the enemy, go figure, which can then be comboed into daze, which stuns the enemy for a period of time. Take this and the chain attack, which gives all 3 party members a chance to attack in a turn-based fashion, stacking damage with each successful turn. It's so addicting once you fully realize the potential that the combat has, and when you learn it all, it becomes all very simple, even though starting out it's a little rough. The characters of this game are also extremely well written, and are characters that you can fall in love with as you watch them develop and grow throughout the long journey of the game. The main cast of characters and some supporting characters show the most development outside of some that I can't mention here due to spoilers, but watching Shulk go from this awkward shut-in to a powerful, inspiring, and strong character is something incredible to witness. Other characters like Dumban, Sharla, and Melia also share incredible development with their own lives too. Since this is the JRPG, you know we'll have quests or side quests, and yeah, it does. All 480 of them. The game has a feature called the Affinity Chart, or really the Affinity System, where you can interact with most, if not all, the NPCs in the game and do quests for them. Some quests are required, being story quests, but the grand majority of them are optional. By definition, side content, which doesn't need to be completed unless you want it to. But by doing so opens up bigger and better rewards per region or location as specific region's affinity bar increases. Each party member also has affinity charts, which assist in combat, but I'm not going to get in that to here because it'll bore you. Oh god, this is where I get to talk about story, huh? Yeah, so you know how I placed games like Death Stranding and Genshin Impact on the list here because of story? Yeah, this game's story here is the single factor that keeps me hooked while playing. It plays with your heartstrings just as the first couple chapters of the game starts, and it doesn't ever stop. Halfway through the game, the story gets so fleshed out that it practically begs you to continue playing to find out what happens next. Its excellence in foreshadowing with characters like, actually, I'm not gonna say that. But listen to me when I tell you that replaying the game or rewatching cutscenes after you've completed the game fully is magnificent. Watching how early the writers of the game sprinkled in these tiny little notes that first-time players will only understand during the final moments of gameplay, and also rewatching cutscenes like I just said. It leaves me speechless. If you enjoy open world and in-depth combat, beautiful locations and atmosphere, fantastic writing and dialogue, and a story that keeps you hooked from beginning to end, then I suggest playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Easily a top 10 game of all time for me. That concludes the top 10 list. This is off-script Xsword, and I don't really want to show footage here of games because I've just done that to you for 30 minutes, so here's footage of my cat in return. Basically just want to say thanks for watching my content over the year. Mario Kart 9 is still getting traction to this date, which I'm so grateful for because that's practically my magnum opus. But this is a sub count difference from last year to this year, and holy fuck, thank you. Like, the traction's actually phenomenal, and I think the majority of that came from the Mario 64 Iceberg video, which, that was a bitch to make. That video fucking sucked to make, I'll be honest. Yes, I know the audio levels is shit. That's because of my headset mic, and I don't really know what I can do to fix it. I've done everything, and even the audio levels in this video is probably, not the best. But at the same time, I'm still grateful for the traction. Like, all the comments, I read every single comment, and the subs that are coming in, it's phenomenal. It's lovely. As for plans for the new year, I'm not going to do an update video because I don't have much to update, but everything that I said in the recaps and looks that ended off 2019 going into 2020, those videos I said I would make, they're coming out. I'm going to upload Iceberg Part 2 soon, because that's almost done and it needs to come out. It's around 3/4 done. Iceberg Part 2 will come out. But Stream Highlights 4, that is done. That video is finished. So that's going to come out before that one, 100%. So after this upload, we're going to get Stream Highlights 4 and then Iceberg Part 2, and then we'll see what happens. But overall, I just want to say thank you to every single person that has watched my videos this year. It's nice. It's really, I'm trying to find a word. It's inspiring because it it gives me motivation to continue uploading, even though I'm less than 500 subs. It's just nice. And look forward to my content for this year. Hopefully 2021's a bit of a pickup from last year. But yeah, this is Xsword64 signing off. I forget how to do my outro, but thanks for watching pretty much, and catch you next video. Peace.